Something I've had to do many times during my time as a clothier, and therefore something I've had a lot of time to think about, is what is the best way to get somebody started out who has never worn this sort of stuff before. Sometimes a young person will come in, maybe with a parent, maybe by themselves, and they'll say, we do not have a large budget and we do not have a whole lot of closet space, but we need a series of versatile outfits that are going to get us through interviews, weddings, funerals, all of the important suit and sport coat related events that a young person might have in a year. With that in mind, I developed what I call the Young Professionals Starter Kit. This isn't something that you buy from one particular store or the other. It's just a general idea that you can have in your head when you go to get your first suit from wherever you decide to get it from. Let's get into it. Okay, depending on who you're talking to, and depending on which fashion blog or fashion advice you're looking at, and depending on what era of fashion that fashion advice is from, it's typically going to be advised to you to get somewhere between, for your first suit, a black, navy, or charcoal. When I was selling suits in the past, I typically made the argument for charcoal, particularly for its versatility. I think black is sometimes a little bit too formal, and especially in the modern era has become a little bit funerary. But more than that, I think that the charcoal does a better job of providing more outfits, of being more versatile. With the navy, you kind of have to do, elderly gentlemen will yell at me in the comments, but you kind of have to go with brown shoes for a navy suit. You kind of have to go with black shoes for a black suit. The charcoal suit is unique because it can either be worn with brown shoes, which dress it down a little bit, or if you want to dress it up a little more, then you can put on black shoes. You don't have to go with monk straps like I did. They're my favorites. You can use plain toes, cap toes, lace-ups, however you like to do it, as long as they're dress shoes. But that is the main point about charcoal's versatility, is you can use either color depending on what the situation calls for. You can get away with it and make it look nice and even make a whole different look. Now, something else that I will add, if they have the option at the store that you go to, consider a vest, or what other people call a waistcoat, to add a touch of extra formality and depth and literally another layer to your outfit. It's a really nice option to have. You don't always have to wear it, and you can wear it with other stuff. In this clothier's humble opinion, the three-piece charcoal suit is one of the most impressive, imposing pieces of equipment that a person can wear, and it really does, as long as it's fitted correctly, look good on anybody. This charcoal suit is going to be the foundation of our Young Professional Starter Kit, and then with this we'll add, not every occasion you dress up for is going to call for a suit. So if you're getting, your first little wardrobe together, you're going to want something that's versatile that you'll be able to throw over almost any pair of pants you have, as well as jeans and other things like this. So we start out with just a really classic, basic navy blazer. You'll notice that I haven't changed my pants yet. I'm still wearing the darker charcoal pant from the other suit. This is another way of highlighting the charcoal suit's versatility, is the pants can be mixed and matched with other things. In fact, I love my charcoal pants so much that I bought 4 pairs of them, because they're probably the pant that I wear the most often, and I like the way that the pleats work and they're just comfortable for me. Just like with the other, because I've got the charcoal pant on, you can wear black shoes with this. I don't do that. I've chosen to go back to my brown cap toe monk straps here, but anytime that there is a gray pant, you can technically use the black shoes if you want to. I don't typically like to pair the black with the blue, but If one pair of black dress shoes is what you've got, then you can definitely still make that work. When you're getting your first suit, that one pair of charcoal pants that you get is probably not the only pair you're going to want to wear with it. So we're going to add a pair of light gray pants. A lot of people will ask why a light gray and not a tan, because that's also something that's very common and very classic with the navy blazer. But once again, when we're building this young professional starter kit, I've chosen pieces for versatility, and therefore with the gray, you can still wear that with brown or black shoes. This is where we're gonna start. We've got our charcoal suit, and we've got our navy blazer and light gray pants. And if you like, you can also add the vest to that. Now we talk about the rest of it. And so by changing around the shirt and the tie, we can create more combinations, which can be used more interchangeably. You don't have to get so many pieces like I have to do that. So let me show you where to start. In addition to your classic charcoal suit, your navy blazer, and your gray pants, you're going to want at least 2, if not 3 white shirts, because you're going to want a healthy rotation of those, because having a good rotation extends the life of each of your garments. The best way to take care of your shirts is to have a good rotation so they don't get too dirty in the first place. Then after the 2 white shirts, it's generally advisable to have something like a good light blue that has some good contrast, and then you can do another color that you like. That can be up to you. I chose pink, and then I also really love a good stripe or a tattersall. I chose a stripe here that can be worn professionally or casually. You don't need a whole bunch of ties to start out with, especially if your budget and space are limited. So I picked out some ties that I thought were very useful and versatile and can be interchanged with a whole bunch of outfits. So we've got a very classic navy that's going to work well with a whole bunch of stuff, and it's going to provide contrast without being too bold. And then I've shown a burgundy paisley. I think burgundy is a really great addition, and it works very well with gray and navy, both that we've got here. I prefer burgundy over red because it looks less like you're going to CPAC. And then finally, I've got a nice classic power gold, which is going to be a really strong look. It will be bold without being obnoxious about it, which will make you stand out. And then of course, no jacketed outfit is complete absent our pocket square. When you're starting out, it's best to just have a classic white one in a nice banker's fold, and that's going to work with everything, and you can build your collection from there. Final word about socks and shoes. You can do socks 3 ways. You can coordinate with the pant. That's probably like the most traditional way to do it. You can coordinate with the shoe, or you can do something that has a pop of color of its own that matches with other stuff in the outfit. I typically choose to pair with the shoe because I have a whole bunch of brown socks and I probably wear brown shoes the most often, so it is the easiest to coordinate. You may not be able, depending on what's available to you and your resources and your space, you may not be able to get all of this stuff all at once. That's not the point. Just what we're doing with this young professional starter kit is helping you set the foundation that's going to build your wardrobe. You'll start with, maybe depending on what you have available to you, might start with the charcoal suit and get a couple of shirts and maybe a tie, and maybe you'll add the blazer later, and then slowly over time you will build things. And as you build onto your wardrobe, you'll notice that certain pieces that you find, some will have more versatility and some will fit better with your aesthetic, and you'll gravitate toward those, and you'll slowly be dressing like the person you want to be, or at least that's what we hope. If you like this information, if it was useful to you, then let us know.